to drink a lot of alcohol. And so when they introduced the systems, people immediately realized that this is cool, because they didn't even read the barcode, but they did what I told you earlier. They just copied them in masses and like went into stores and got money. And to prevent this, the stores actually started to use like special paper, so they would recognize their own paper. But the thing is, if you stick the barcode under your six-pack, which is heavy, and the lady at the cash register doesn't like to like lift it up, so they just scan it over. So if you stick something under this and you're not too greedy, you actually get paid for drinking beer. Another thing that people use barcodes for is access control. More often than you would actually expect, the access control system only verifies that the structure of the data is nice, which means that it can read a barcode. Like, it will not look at the content. Not at all. It's a really easy test. Like, when you have an access system that uses barcodes, just take your pack of cigarettes or whatever you currently have on you with a UPC and just scan it and see if the door opens. Don't be too surprised if it does, because that's like really a regular case. Other than that, you can just like get the right number of digits on your barcode and scan it, and it will open the door. That frequently works. So a tag in quotes, because that's all really silly stuff, that I used actually is this, so desynchronization. The thing is, people do not realize that the barcode and the numbers that are, the digits that are actually printed below the barcode do not have anything to do with each other, except for your assumption that this number is what the barcode says. Like, this is an assumption. And many people have that assumption, which can be exploited. So, what you do is you can just change it. Like, you can change the number or the barcode and leave the other one intact. And then, do stuff with it. Other people do that as well. Like, we had a company trip to the zoo. Don't even ask. So this is the tickets we got, and of course I collected them all and scanned the barcodes. And this is what they do as well. The numbers that they show next to the barcode are the shorter ones, and when you decode the barcodes, you see the longer numbers there. And the leading digit actually says if you need to pay or not. Everything else is pretty much useless. So, desynchronization can be used for property tracking. Now, let us assume you work as a contractor at this company, and your fellow co-contractor working next to you has this nice laptop. So, like, let's assume you have a Mac and you're like really finally understanding that they're crap, and you want his IBM. This is what you do. In this company that I'm contracting there, they actually do property checking by, you go and you get a barcode, and stick it on your laptop, and then they say, this barcode belongs to this guy, so this is FX's laptop. And when you check out, they scan the barcode and they see if that's yours. So what you do is, you replace the barcode on your badge. Just the barcode, not the number, temporarily with the barcode on the badge of the legitimate owner. Now, how do you know the value? Well, it's printed below, so you can just generate the barcode. You don't need any magic. Now, you stuck that on, go out, check it out, like check your new IBM laptop out, go back in, because right now he's not at work, but he's about to leave, so that is not good, right? So you have to go back in, fix your badge again, and then like remove it, and then check out and go home, and have two laptops. Easy as that. You can also use that for changing the identity of your laptop. Like, many companies actually use the barcodes that are below your machine that actually contain the MAC address. They use that for port access security, for example. So you bring your laptop, then you scan the barcode, and then they know your MAC address and stuff. Of course, you can put a different MAC address in there. So one of the ideas I had was like putting the broadcast MAC address in there, like all F. And so when they put it into the network access control system, it's going to like fuck up the network. The thing about barcodes is it's a really simple technology, but you actually have to get your procedure right. So this is what happens like when you're really lucky. So this is actually a picture of the place, the apartment building I live in, and they put in a store, a automated DVD rental system, like unattended, right there. It had a barcode scanner at the door, and I walked right in there and like asked them for an account and like figured out that they're actually using biometric authentication. Like they wanted my fingerprint, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get my fingerprint this side. So I only go for the PIN. Now this is really cool because it's like unattended and it's in my house, and so I can like go at night and like play with their systems. So, okay, here's this. Here's the rental procedure and the pickup procedure. So the rental procedure is you go in, you swipe your card, you enter your PIN, you select the movie you want, you log out. You can do the same thing on their website. Now, the pickup procedure to actually get to the physical data carrier, the DVD, is you swipe your card, you get the DVD from the machine. Is anyone seeing an issue here? Well, the second doesn't ask for a PIN. So the card that you get actually has a barcode on it. The barcode is actually highly complicated. There, yeah. Over there, like the top. It actually has like 4 digits and 1 character. Now the 1 character is actually pretty much static. It is the first letter of your last name. And then the digits just like the numbers just increase. Which means you can just guess who just rented a movie, and then print a barcode with this number, swipe it, and if they ordered it over the web, you get it. Their problem is they cannot prove that they don't have it, so they have to pay for it. And you get to watch DVDs and even keep them. So, yeah, this is what I did. Also, what's really funny, so on this website where you can like pre-order this stuff, they will actually tell you if it's rented out or not, and it will actually look a little bit different if it's already taken out or just reserved. So you already know what movies are rented and are pre-ordered, so you're not picking up like, I don't know, Disney crap. Yeah, it's good. So the next class that we have is injections and multi-decoding. So most barcode readers, as I mentioned, actually read everything, like every possible type of barcode, and they're usually left in their factory setting because nobody cares. And even if they're not, we have learned already, we have configure barcodes, we can make them so again. The backend application, however, will in many cases only expect the barcode type it's written for. How surprise! Ever heard of people forgetting input validation? It is the same deal. So, using a very powerful barcode like code 128, you can inject arbitrary characters. That brings us to actually having SQL injections and format string attacks in barcodes. You will be surprised how good this works. The really interesting part of that is, the older the application, the less likely that you actually succeed, because people back in the days could actually code. And the later the application, like the latest PHP written shit, is going to fail all over you if you have a SQL injection barcode. This is actually, I had the pleasure of professionally like playing with barcodes as well. So this is actually from a medical system. Which is really important because it tests your blood for HIV. And you can actually, like, you see barcodes over there. I found an injection in that system so that you could actually make, like, test results go away. This is scary. You don't want to do that. Okay, I mentioned that people use barcodes for utter bullshit. It's called QR codes. So the idea is this. You have a newspaper, like a paper newspaper. Like, for us hackers, we probably don't have seen those in like years, but like a physical RSS, okay? So, and what the idea is, they print barcodes on the newspaper, and it is a 2-dimensional barcode, and then there is commercial decoder software for your mobile phone Nokia actually ships with one, I think, the latest, that will scan the barcode, decode the barcode automatically, and point your browser right at the URL this is pointing to. This is actually a really, really bad idea. Now, yeah, here are some more of them. The German newspapers, they actually started off with using them and said everyone else is using them now. Now, the thing is this. We took one of those commercial software thingies and looked at it and realized that it's actually not even going to the newspaper's website, but it's just going to some Web 2.0 marketing bullshit company. And when you decode, when you brute force the numbers, you can see who else is using this service, which is kind of nice, but it's not really barcode related. The problem here is this. People can actually print arbitrary content in newspapers. We call this advertisement. This is how the newspapers actually make their money. So most people, especially most suit and tie wearing people, do actually trust their physical newspaper. Not only do they believe what they read in there, but they also do not think it could be evil content. So you're pointing your browser to a not to you known URL automatically with your newspaper. Is that potentially a bad idea? Anyone? Have you ever heard of a vulnerable browser before? And you get to cross-site script people with your newspaper. You put a cross-site scripting attack in a newspaper, he's logged into Gmail, he scans this shit, you delete all his email. This is it's a no-brainer. It's like cross-site scripting 101. How about just renting very little advertisement space and then pointing it to an IcePack or MPEG site or whatever exploitation framework you use against browsers and mass owning managers. Now great, we have now to tell our CEOs they should not click on images in their fucking morning newspaper. Thank you. There is another great property of barcodes. This is the density thing. The barcodes are actually designed to have a variety of density. The thing is, some of them are arbitrary length, so you can print as much as you want. If you have a really long reader, that's not a problem. But the programs, the software that is going to handle the barcode that you're just giving it, is actually written for this fixed amount of digits that it was expecting. So even in the same space, physical space that you probably need when you print it on a card or on a slip here in Vegas, you can actually print a lot more digits. Ever heard of buffer overflows before? Have you noticed that putting more stuff into something that it was expecting is actually something that hackers really like? So yes, it does happen. We did find buffer overflows with barcodes simply by just printing more. It is a lot less common than the injection attacks. But your tool of choice here is the code 128 because it's full 7-bit ASCII character set and you can chain them together. You print multiple of them and they end with the control code FC4 and that says there's more coming. And the barcode reader is actually caching that. So the barcode reader is actually buffering all the barcodes you're scanning and then you send the final one and say, go! And then you finally scanned a 1K big barcode, which is kind of cool. Really breaks shit. Warning, I have to warn you, it is a pain to develop shellcode on barcodes. I can tell you from experience. Yeah, and coming back to this QR thing, taking pictures in your newspaper and then routing your browser to it. Yeah, you put it into a disassembler. Right away you find a place where they have a %s that they later on pass to a W's printf. You also find some phone number that is undocumented and funny statements, and you find their username and their password for some HP OpenView looking glass in their software. I don't actually know what that is, but it was too cool to pass on. It has nothing to do with barcodes, but if you want to own some fucked up Web 2.0 company, there it is. We actually tested a lot of stuff that didn't break. So this is something we have in Germany. It's called the pack station. You get a barcode in your mail,